Today, I wanted to share some techniques and non-negotiable strategies that I use that have totally helped me in getting the life that I ultimately wished and hoped for and dreamt for when I was 20 years old, and when I'm sitting in the results today and how I got there. If you are a business leader that has been having challenges in putting life together, especially in this crazy time of AI and just all of these options, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe you're feeling daunted, and there's this little bit of fear, a little bit of FOMO. How do we simplify this? How do we get some clarity? By the end of this video, you're going to be walking out not only with absolute clarity, you're going to have a lot more confidence and you're going to feel a lot better. So let's dive in. Forecasting your future. A little bit about me before we start. My name is Elias. I am a serial entrepreneur. I knew that I wanted to be able to have a life by design very early on, and I wanted to have some incredible results. But I was very much independent. I was in survival mode. I lived in a warehouse for about 20 years, and I really put everything that I could back into it. But I want to get into these points to show you how I did it so that you can use it yourself on a daily. And it's kind of like a little checklist. There's 4 points. I'm going to unpack each and every one of them so that you can use them as like a little cheat sheet, default little system that'll help you. My life consists of now, so that you know why I'm teaching these and why I can share this, is I am a leader that helps develop leaders. I help business leaders live a life by design. I want to help them use their business as a mission to underwrite their purpose, ultimately live their destiny, and do it through the business they are absolutely in love with. That probably feels like a code that you've been trying to crack or a riddle you've been trying to solve. But I'm here to tell you that it is possible. Let's dive into the first 4 points. Here we go. Number 1, I booked myself as a client. In order to do what we're talking about right now, you're watching this video, you're actually booking yourself as a client. You're taking a few minutes out of your day to invest in yourself. Booking yourself as a client is one of the most important things that I will look and see on your calendar. On my calendar blocking, it actually says booked as a client, focus time. This is my time where I'm doing my walks, my reading, my journaling, my forecasting, my planning, and my sharpening of the saw. Okay, the sharpening of the saw says if I have 3 hours to cut down a tree, I'm going to spend the first 2.5 hours sharpening my saw. Book yourself as a client, get quiet time to be able to review, to introspect, and to be able to dive deep on your planning and on your forecasting. And then we're going to go to step number 2. I want you to interview your future self. When I was 20 years old back in that warehouse, I remember sitting there going, all right, here we are. We're not at rock bottom, but we're at zero. We don't have a ton of money. We don't have social media. We don't have computers. Back then it was the 80s, and I had to get things to market by meeting people one-on-one. And I took it to the streets, and I started getting myself in front of people, painting custom art, doing the cars for the Fast and the Furious. But all of this stuff had to be built a little bit over time. So interviewing your future self says this. First, I got to get quiet, booking myself as a client. Number 2, I got to sit down and I got to interview my future self. And I did. And I said, all right, you're 50 years old. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? What do you have? And I'm like, I want a family. I want stability. I want a white picket fence. I want to live in a home. I want to be able to have a publishing company. I want to be able to take my art out to the world and sell millions of dollars of art. And I want to be able to do it through a publishing company, making limited edition posters and prints and canvases and framing. And I want to be able to do distribution worldwide. I also want to work with amazing companies. I want to have licensing deals. I want to have wholesaling division. I want to build an educational arm. I want to be able to mentor people. I imagine myself at 50 mentoring people, coaching, doing books, hosting events, having online presence, being able to host workshops. And I envisioned being able to have influence to help people with their life. That was what I was dreaming of. And then I said, okay, how much money does he have? How much money is he making per year? What kind of car does he drive? Where does he live? Why does he have what he has? So those are my ingredients. I got myself quiet. I got myself to the point where I started interviewing myself, and I could see literally like an avatar. And I'm like, what does he look like? He's fit, he's dialed, he's structured, he's disciplined. And I just kept getting this vision of the future self. I brought him, like I'm standing next to him in the room, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, hold on. This guy is here now. What's missing? Meaning I'm him, I just haven't become him yet. So I want you to do that with yourself. What is the missing parts? Make a list in the interviewing your future self part. who am I becoming and what's missing between that person and this person. And you really can't say, and you might immediately default to money, but I don't want you to go into the money part yet. I just want you to think, what are the things that are missing right now? Could it be a building? Could it be assets? All of that sort of stuff. Okay, so you're going to take that inventory. The next thing I want you to do, number 3, is begin with the end in mind. And I want you to be thinking about not only your future self, but I want you to think, number 1 question, what are the assets that you're sitting on when you think about your future self? Okay, so as I started to build into my future self, I realized, especially when technology came out and the internet came out, that it was a whole new pioneering space, similar to what is happening right now with AI. It's a brand new world. It's a brand new space. But what's really interesting about what's happening right now in this space versus what was happening back then in that space is I'm actually sitting on the assets that I curated and executed on before AI was ever even around. All right. And that was even before selling online. I was making paintings. I was scanning those paintings. I was duplicating those paintings. I was doing publishing. I was writing books. I was duplicating those books and I was getting it out to market. 20 years of building assets that I'm now sitting on in the future self of the 50-year-old version of who I used to talk to and interviewed. I became him. And you can too. But the benefit that you have over me is you have the opportunity to build assets based on a great idea, to serve people through a business that you absolutely love. And you can do that way quicker than any time before. And so I'm here to tell you what might have taken me 2 decades to build and assets and get to market and test, you're going to be able to do in like a hockey stick. And that gets me excited for you. So I want you to stop and think about this for a minute. As you've allocated this time, interviewed yourself, thought about that future self, and then begin with the end in mind. What are you sitting on? For me, it was this: books, publishing company, workshops, a coaching business, advisory, speaking on stage, having my own podcast. And especially on the publishing side with books, that was a really, really big one. I also wanted to have licensing. I wanted to do licensing deals with major brands. And here's what happened. Let me just tell you what happened. I formed the business to then build upon it to where I built a publishing company, which was limited editions, posters, prints, manufacturing, wholesale. That art business then led into licensing opportunities with Arturo Fuente Cigars, Walt Disney Company, Costco, Universal Pictures, Apple, all of these brands, which has been amazing. Those books then turned into assets that were based on my curriculum and my life journey. I shared my testimony. I wrote the 31 disciplines of highly successful creatives. I then moved into spaces where I'm helping to build them out frameworks and protocols of how to build a business or an agency or graphic design and how to take your creativity out to the world. Those books then became courses. Courses then became group coaching on a global level and a global scale. That then went into one-on-one coaching with really high net worth clients and business owners, as well as Fortune 500 companies, teams, organizations, and ministries. And all of this started to build upon one another, and it started to gain a tremendous amount of momentum. The reason why my 50s happened is because the last point. Okay, let me review them really quick. Book yourself as a client, interview your future self, begin with the end in mind, how you want to end, what you're sitting on, and then you got to do this. You got to say, now that I'm sitting on this, you got to reverse engineer it. So you're kind of going into the future, looking at what you're sitting on, the house that you're in, the warehouse that you're in, the business that you're in, who's with you. You're looking at that situation, then you travel back in time to today and you go, what's missing? And then what you start to do is allocate, okay, what's the difference between there and here, and what do I need right now? And then you start taking that list of needs from beginning with the end in mind, and you say, okay, it's a life by design. You don't default your way into amazing. You don't default your way and stumble into extraordinary. It is crafted, designed, and architected. The most serious entrepreneurs that get the most out of life are going to be the ones that sit down and study and refine and define their outlook and their vision for their life. This is all I do with my clients. Life by design, not by default. A legacy will not get built. You will not live your purpose, and you will not be able to live that out in confidence on the daily if you're constantly guessing. So take a moment. Take these 4 points, Book yourself as a client. You got to get quiet and get it on your calendar to show that you are a priority to yourself, to your family, and your future self. Number 2, interview yourself now that you're freed up and write down that wish list of who you want to become. Then begin with the end in mind of what are the assets that you're sitting on, and then reverse engineer that process to say, what do I need to start planting today in order for that person to drink and eat from the fruit that we're planting today with this tree? Lastly, I'll tie it up with this, and this is not on the 4 points. You cannot transform yourself or think that transformation is going to happen in a silver bullet or in a microwave. It's not going to happen super quick because your roots will not be established super deep. So I want to encourage you today, set and frame expectations to say, today is a deposit. Today, I'm going to make incremental, small wins. And I fill my books year after year with daily wins. 3 wins that I accomplish. Some days it's 16, but wins nonetheless. Progress really helps you build that momentum. And what I call those little drops in the bucket fill up over time. And the next thing you know, you've got a ton of momentum and you've got assets that you're sitting on. Why are assets important? Here's why. And this is going to be a whole nother video, but here it is. The people that are going to be the last people standing in this AI age are the people that have the ideas, the people that have the influence, the people that have the trust, the people that have the communities, and the people that have the momentum. Doing life with a real human being that genuinely has amazing products, transformation products that are going to help other people and make this world a better place, where you can actually stand in a room with this person, shake their hand, and do life with them. If I'm you, I would really encourage you, as I do all this mentorship, help others like you, build your own assets, build your own world, bring people into those conversations, and you will have massive dividends, both financially, but most importantly, the impact you're going to have on others in your life. I'm thanking my younger self. I'm thanking for my younger self for the courage that it took day in, day out to build, to film, to make a blog, to make a video. Some that tanked, other ones that went crazy. But all I got to tell you is each and every day, you are making a deposit into that future of who you want to be and who you're going to be there standing with and all that you're going to have. So get after it. Don't waste another day. Listen, don't waste another day. I live with the conviction that I was born for such a time as this. So are you. And you have what it takes to take your message, all of what you've got, to use AI to amplify that voice. If it gives you a louder megaphone, allows you to be able to get more content out, allows you to duplicate yourself, there is no greater time than right now for you to act on your dreams and to go for it. So do it. Make it happen today. Leave a comment down below. What stood out to you today? And also, what is the most challenging out of the 4 that you heard? Is it booking yourself as a client? Is it interviewing your future self? Can you get vulnerable with yourself? 3, is it beginning with the end in mind? Does it terrify you or excite you? And lastly, reverse engineer everything. What are you going to be sitting on, my friend? Have an incredible day. Go out and make it happen. I'm in your corner. See ya.